there's some good things I like about the church. One thing I like about the church is there's a camaraderie that's in the church that I like. There's together. Everyone's together. That's one thing I like about the church. You know, that's one thing. You can say, oh, you can talk about the pastor all day long. Who gives a fuck? Who fuck the pastor? But I'm talking about the people that show up in that church. I miss that togetherness. Because when I'm out I'm at now, where I live now, I don't have that where I live at now. I don't have that. Yeah, I got friends here and there, but it ain't like. I mean, I only got a handful of people like that here where I live. In that church is hundreds of people like that. Hundreds of people like that in the church. And see, think about it like this. If you have hundreds of people in a church like that, that's a self-maintaining economy within itself. Think about it like that. That's an economy within itself. You have hundreds of people, in one building. Most of them are there for same or similar reason, and most of y'all know each other directly or indirectly, each other's families, etc. So there's no strangers in there. There's no strangers in these churches every Sunday. There's no stranger in there. Everybody know damn near everybody, directly or indirectly. I might not know you, but I know your mama, or your daddy, or your grandmama. You know what I'm saying? There's no strangers in there. So that's what I'm talking about. I don't have that here where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? I don't have that. That camaraderie, you can't pay to have that. You can't pay for that. Either you got it or you don't. It's going to be natural. You can't pay to have that. No one can give you that. That's a big difference. That's what I miss. That's what I miss about being in church. You know what I'm saying? That's why when I go home, sometimes I go to the church that I grew up in. I grew up in that church that back home. And check this out. That church has been there for 400 years. Think about that. The church that I grew up in, the church that my parents grew up in, the church that my grandparents grew up in, it's been there for 400 years. Think about that. Damn. My grandmother buried there in the graveyard. My great-grandparents is buried in the graveyard. My parents is buried in the graveyard. Damn. Woo, man. My dad buried in the graveyard. Damn. On the other side, they buried in the graveyard. My dad, sisters, brothers buried in the graveyard. Damn, man. 400 years, brother. Woo, man. I'm telling you, there's a lot of memories in that church, man. They've been there for a long time, man. Yeah.